Berman told me the museum is placing a special mirror in the back. When you look in the mirror, you'll see a 12-year-old scout. Gene told me to be brief. I tried.
We all know Sal for 100 years. He's great. Okay, starting to end up our portion of it, just two other things. I'd like to acknowledge this year's contributors to our Wall of Fame. The tiles are already up and in place. And one tile was purchased by Russ and Flo Hanna, one for Ted Tershin, one for Harv Lynn, and one for somebody who I can't read the handwriting. Okay. I apologize. Oh, I'm sorry. It's for Carl. Is Carl here? Yeah, he would know. Oh, you know what? I know what. I can look at the tile. Harold Wolchuk, for Harold Wolchuk. So, and last but not least, please be sure today, especially if this is your first time back in a long time, to register with your name, your email address if you have one, if not, your address and your contact information for the museum. David Malatsky, Dave, raise your hand please in the back, taking pictures. We'd be more than happy to add your name as a member of the museum or just as somebody that's interested in getting mailings and what's going on. And of course, Greater New York Councils certainly wants your information because we want to welcome you back into the GNYC family and up at the registration canopy by the parking lot. We appreciate it. So thanks once again. Enjoy the museum, enjoy Camp Kiowa and all the wonderful things that are going on there. And I'll return the microphone now to our Master of Ceremonies, Judge Artichak.
Thank you. There's one additional thing to our program. And I don't know, is Toby Russo still here? Yes, he is. Okay. We have a veteran scouter from Brooklyn who's an Order of the Arrow member, camp commissioner, but I know him in some other capacities. But he's also a member of the staff of the governor of the state of New York. And so I'm going to thank Toby for getting this done. We're going to get a bigger one of these, but we have a special proclamation from the governor of the state of New York in light of the anniversary of scouting and our assembly here today. I don't want to read the entire proclamation. We'll get a bigger one that looks better, but Toby brought it up here today. And I'm going to read the last whereas. And it says, going through a whole recitation about the history of scouting in New York State, it says, whereas it is appropriate to bestow commendation upon all the scouts and leaders of the Greater New York Councils, today you gather to join with the rest of the scouting community to commemorate and celebrate 10 decades of the history and heritage of scouting with the T.M.R. River Scout Camps and the Alumni Association. On this festive and fun occasion, these Eagle Scouts share the sterling reputation of all Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts, Eagle Scouts, and adventurers, known for such fine attributes as trustworthiness, loyalty, friendliness, courtesy, kindness, obedience, cheerfulness, thrift, you forgot thrifty, thrift, bravery, cleanliness, and reverence, essential qualities for which we are all highly grateful. Now therefore I, David A. Patterson, Governor of the State of New York, do hereby confer this special citation in honor of the 100th anniversary of the Boy Scouts of America and extend congratulations and best wishes to this distinguished association for its long-standing and a wholehearted devotion to the youth of our community and service of the public in the interest of the betterment of society and humanity as a whole. And it's signed David A. Patterson, dated today, Governor of the State of New York. So, and we're going to get the appropriate proclamation. Now, we also like to bring some greetings from the GNYC Executive Board. As many of you know, besides the Jamboree, today we have the big event at Times Square, where hopefully thousands of people are there. And normally Charlie Ross, our scout executive, would come up here, but Charlie, because of what's going on in Times Square, is over there today, and it would be a bit of a problem being two places at once. So I guess not only pinch hitting for Charlie, but we have a veteran scouter who was here as a scout, Eagle Scout, and has served us for many years as our camping chairman of the Greater New York Councils, and now has moved on to another position where he's the vice president for special projects for the Greater New York Councils. And I'd like now to call upon Gene Gottesman to come up here.
I was interested to hear reading of Governor Patterson's proclamation, because as many of you know, this is our 100th anniversary, but at the first year, at the inception of these camps, it was the then New York State Governor Franklin D. Roosevelt, who was very active and lent support in his ability to help this camp get started. So here we are at both ends of the 100-year cycle. I bring you greetings from the Executive Committee and the Board of Directors of the Greater New York Councils. Before I go further, Les Carter, where are you? Come up here for a second. We have there are three of us here from the Board of Directors. Judge Shack is a member. Les Carter is a member. I knew Judge Shack from the Camping Committee as well. And Les Carter has been very active in his role working with the campership fundraising. Les told me that over the years the campership appeal has sent 2,000 scouts to camp over the past 16 years. Is that right? Okay, so thanks a lot. I just want the people to see you folks first. As you know, the scouts have been hard pressed from a financial point of view, like a lot of other associations and businesses, but hard pressed, and they've been doing some miracle work to stay afloat, and they've managed to pull some miracles out of the air. But over and above that, the Board of Directors has authorized, and over and above the revenue that comes in from the scouts, they've managed to scare up $500,000 a year to help subsidize and support T.M.R. River and other camps, T.M.R. River primarily. So that's a major move, because the essence of scouting is the outdoors. The essence of scouting is the outdoors, and speaking of the next 100 years of scouting, it seems to me the earth is still going to be here. If they don't wreck it, it's still going to be here, and our whole, everything on this earth that comes from the earth, and hopefully we can continue our close relationship with the earth, the woods, the animals, the flowers, and the rest of us. So in 100 years, I believe the basic elements are not going to change that much. We may have fancier facilities, I'm sure we will, and we may have new kinds of programs reflecting some of the developments. For example, right now we have, if you'll allow me to say so, we have the Gottesman Communication and Technology Center, which I hope you'll visit while you're up here. Thank you. As reflective of, we get the boys interested in computers and public speaking and maybe the radio station and other things. Then they segue into the nature aspect of things, because as we know, a lot of the younger kids don't consider traditional scouting as cool as it used to be. But by getting them involved through another door and getting them continue to be involved, we can then blend it in and get the full benefit out of this wonderful 12,000 acre location. 12,000 acres owned by the Boy Scouts. So Charlie Rosser, our Scout Executive and CEO of the Greater New York Councils, as mentioned, he's busy with the 5,000 Boy Scouts down in Times Square. I'm looking forward to see if they get coverage in the newspapers, which I'm sure they will, before tomorrow. And he's busy with that in the reception. He's having himself a good time down there with all the celebs, I guess. But he asked me to read to you his greetings, which I'll do. So bear with me here. This is from Charlie Rosser. I'm just reading it.